Hello.
Hello,
Good
everyone.
afternoon.
Hello.
Sorry for the bait and switch, but yeah, Jody, she wasn't feeling well all day, but she was determined to be here, but then it just got worse and we want her to
Worse.
get some rest for sure.
Yes. So give her your best wishes if you see her on the forum or on the Discord.
hmm
That she feels better soon, but nobody should suffer to be on our show. It's
Nah.
just not worth it.
We need her at peak brain power too.
That's
Because I
right.
sure as hell am not.
Someone has to
I
be.
just got off work. Like I've used a lot. I've used too much brain. It gets busy at the first of the year. When
Oh,
at
right.
work
Yeah.
is like all the new funding comes in and all the contracts. So
The
that's
company
been
I'm at right now, their fiscal year starts April 1st, which is kind of weird. So, like, this is their last quarter for them. So, they're kind of scrambling to get deadlines met too. But I guess then April 2nd, like, everybody's like, woohoo, not going to do anything for a few months.
we got. So Branton said he'd suffer to be on our show, and so would Bougie. Yeah, we would love to have more guests on. I'm just terrible about like asking people, but people will ask me, and I'm like, yeah, sure.
I know. Yeah. I mean, you have to talk about plants if you come on.
Yeah, it's a plant show.
It's a plant show. I mean, like, it could be terrariums. We could talk about that. Or, like, I guess we'd also accept macroalgae. If you want to come on and talk about macroalgae, we would love
Yeah.
that.
Yep,
So,
I still need to learn literally everything about it.
I know, same. Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, we like guests. So, but so hopefully she will feel better next week. And then in 2 weeks, right? Is it
2 weeks? Are you coming in on the 14th?
14th, and I'm flying home on the 17th.
Okay.
So
Are you landing like late night? I'm just wondering if we're canceling McStreamy or not.
Oh God, you're right. I forgot about that. Pretty
Probably.
late, like 11:48.
11:48.
Let me check.
That would be like if we ended McStreamy about 30 minutes early, then I could go. Yeah, so maybe not. Maybe we can stream.
Oh no, 11:08. 11:08.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
I
Maybe
mean,
we'll do an hour.
Jenna and a guest could hold down the fort, I guess, and you could
see how she feels about that.
Yeah, I mean, or she could just be like, you know what? That's that.
Yeah.
So, and then yeah, Monday we will not do it because I will be flying home. Yeah, I fly home at 5:25 your time. So I'll be in the air. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So
people will just have to deal.
Sorry.
I know. Just deal with it.
Well. So what's our topic?
What is our
CO2? We could, or if people got plant questions, basically.
I know. We could talk about whatever we want. I mean, we could talk about cats. I mean,
sure.
Emily says, OMG, what am I going to do on Mondays? I mean, you could read a book. You could watch a show. You could do your water changes.
Yeah, do that.
You could call your mom. I should call my mom. I mean, like, there are things you could do. So we're but one option. And then after us, there's tons of streams on Mondays.
Yeah, except no steam toss today.
That's right. And
everybody's getting sick. They're not feeling well either. They both have a fever.
Oh, it's tough. There's a lot of junk going around. It's I feel like I've been sick or traveling for like 6 months. It's been a lot. All right. So Annette says, she asks, today's stream, can you guys be giving suggestions on what Corey should talk about at the Clash? I mean, I guess we could do that. What should Corey talk about?
value of TDS meters and why everyone should have one.
Yeah. Yeah. He should talk about that.
You can make a sculpture out of a bunch of meters.
It's true. I thought he was going to maybe do a game or something. I don't know.
I don't know. He was soliciting suggestions. I don't know if he's come up with anything yet.
Yeah, I think he should talk about like how to build a fish store or something. Maybe that would be cool because he's renovating his fish store, like, or like what your dream fish room should have, like innovations for your fish room to make your life better.
Yeah, well, I mean, like going from eating horrible top ramen in the back of the store and living on a shoestring budget to where he is now.
It's true.
Then,
I think
sacrifices and all that.
He can afford to put an egg in his ramen now. And that is saying something because eggs are expensive.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I'm like, God, eggs are no longer a cheap breakfast. So, Annette says anything but a puffer talk. Well, but his big puffer did not eat snails. His big puffer ate clams. Though you're not mystery clam guardians. That sounds awful.
I think it would still enjoy a big old snail, especially the Mabu puffer.
Yeah.
Apple snails, like the big apple snails.
So
Vibe sent a super sticker before the stream started. I forgot to say thank you for that. Thank you, Vibes. And then he just he sent another one just now, a super chat. The American flu. Hey, love y'all. Yeah. Also, Vibes is getting over sickness.
I know. We've had so many people with illnesses. It's just, a lot of stuff going around this time of year. So if you're healthy, feel grateful that you're healthy.
And yeah, Serena's right. He's talked a lot about business on his business YouTube, so
this is
probably
true.
wouldn't.
He has, and probably he wants to talk more about fish and aquariums because it's it's a fish
nerd, bunch of weirdos
all
in one building.
So I don't know. I think maybe something on like building a an efficient fish room might be good because there's a lot of he's built a lot of fish rooms. He has a lot of insights on that. Maybe that would be good. I don't know.
I need to make my fish room more efficient because
I feel
I basically have a Franken fish room right now.
Maybe Scotty could give a talk on like how to have an inefficient fish room. Like,
I could do that one.
Insisting on no python after all these months of me yelling at him. Still
that
no python.
Doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. He's like, well, I'm building a python. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Scotty, just get a python.
You know what? That makes me want to start a poll. Are you still using buckets for
Good poll.
Water changes?
Good poll.
Simple yes and no.
Matt asked, can we talk about how is it that Kelly looks 25? Well, thank you, Matt. So the answer to that is called a ring light.
Oh.
On a warm setting. $15. And you too will look fabulous on a stream without even wearing makeup. It helps. Because in real life, alas.
Of course, Brenton's got to poke holes into the pole. Yeah, I still use buckets. Okay, naturally, I can use them.
Wow, Annette, you use pictures. Girlfriend, get a python. Does a brute count as a bucket? I don't know what a brute is.
That's a big old trash can on wheels.
If it involves brute force, then do you have something to make your life easier, whether it be pumps, a python, something?
How many of your plants are for humans?
Like, you mean, do I eat them?
I don't eat anything I grow out of the aquarium.
Not out of the aquarium. I have tried Limnophila aromatica, though. It tastes good. So you can actually buy the immersed grown Limnophila aromatica at Vietnamese grocery stores. I don't know what the Vietnamese name is for it, but it is an herb used in cooking, and it tastes kind of minty. It tastes good. It tastes like a Vietnamese herb. So if you were going to eat things out of your tank, though, I would advise you wash them very, very thoroughly.
I was going to say, don't just pull it straight out and eat all the bacteria on
Yeah,
it too.
don't like, follow it with a chaser of tank water. But I have tried Limnophila aromatica and it tastes pretty good. Like I wouldn't mind it in a salad, but I really like Vietnamese herbs. So
Hmm.
I
Yeah, I do use a mix of, like, if I'm doing RO water changes, I have gallon jugs and buckets too, but
yeah.
primarily I'm getting water out. It is going straight into a sink or into the yard or something. I am not, and filling, same thing. It's coming straight from the sink.
Yeah, I can empty it out my window if I want, but I
Hmm.
usually just empty it out the drain. We get a lot of rain in my climate. I'm not as worried about water conservation. However, if you live in a drier climate, make sure you use that water to water your plants and water your lawn, um, so it's not wasted.
Yeah.
But my windows are kind of high up is the problem. They're not lower, and so it's a little difficult to do, and they're screens.
Same
So
with my wastewater for RO. It just kind of drips down the driveway.
you live
Because,
in the swamp.
right. So the thing about, so people say they'll use RO water for their plants and stuff. I'm not really sure if my wastewater would be of much benefit for plants. It's just gonna have a higher KH, still have no minerals in it.
Yeah, I mean the
More
thing is
chloramine.
for your outdoor plants, it just doesn't matter. They have soil. Like they don't care about your
Mhm.
KH and your pH. Now, if you have like Iowa water that is so hard and you're using an RO water, that wastewater, I imagine, is like so hard that I don't think I would use it. I certainly wouldn't use it to water anything in a pot because it's a closed system. You
Yeah,
could still use it on your lawn though, and it would probably be just fine. So, and for you, like, I guess if you ever needed to water your lawn with it, it would be fine. But you live in the swamp. Like, do people water their lawns there? Like,
they do. I am not one of those people because I don't give a shit about my lawn. That's why I would never live in an HOA neighborhood, because I don't want to play that game, and
yeah.
I don't need to look like everyone else. I
I mean,
just want to.
people don't really water their lawns here unless like it's brand new grass or it's a golf course. But like you don't see people around town watering their lawns unless maybe if there's a drought, but it rains here. So all right, so Serena says my RO wastewater has a TDS that maxes out my digital meter.
What? How
Yeah,
high do they go? Is
yeah.
it like 999 and then it stops? I don't know. I think I've ever tested anything with the TDS above
Yeah.
1,000.
It's you could still use it on your lawn probably and it would be okay.
Yeah. Well,
Especially if you don't always use it on the same place on your lawn, it's fine. But I wouldn't yeah, I wouldn't put it on my
our
pots.
soil would just pull out all those cations anyway.
Oh, right, because you have heavy clay soil. Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
just fine. So, and Jody says, as long as you don't water the leaves of the plants here. Yeah, so you can get mineral spotting, like it'll get white spots on your leaves if your
Mm.
water is really hard. And that can burn them. That can be a problem. But like, I mean, on your grass, like as long as it's not the same place every day, it's fine.
June says it's required in California to maintain a front lawn.
That's
Drought
great.
for 10 years, and we have to keep the lawn
That
green.
is so dumb because everybody in California should be xeriscaping, which is using desert plants. There are so many beautiful desert plants that you can be using, and you can be using rock work and gravel.
The tree
And
growth is so insane in my yard that I barely have any grass anyway, even in the peak
right,
of spring.
yeah,
I still have a lawn guy. He still comes during the winter just to chop up the leaves.
yeah. I mean, we get a good amount. We get so much rain here that I had a little patch of grass reseeded
Hmm.
because I had, the city workers came and like dug something up and they threw grass seed down and I never even bothered watering it and it was fine. So
Yeah.
it rains here, but use your judgment if you live in a place where it doesn't rain.
But God forbid you modify your car in California.
California. It's a big crazy state. So do we have any Fish Fam members who were affected by the Southern California fires?
I don't
Fires?
know.
I can't think of anyone who lives there.
Just trying to think of the people who are in California at all, like Jimmy P and
Right.
June, Sam
They're not in
Scales out
California
there. Bentley, welcome. Says
though.
buckets. Gary don't carry, and neither do I.
I remember he said that. Yeah, neither do I. I would have quit this hobby if I didn't have a python. So, because when I was a kid, we had smaller tanks, and Dad would change the water with a bucket. But as an adult, I'm like, I can't do that. And when I set up my first tank when I was, in my 30s, and I read about this thing called a python. I'm like, let's do that. Yeah, I would not
Yeah.
even be in this hobby, especially with bigger tanks. Like,
When
there's
I was
no
setting up the
way. There's no
first
way.
40 in this house, I was already like binging YouTube videos, and back then everything on YouTube was 10 things, 10 top 10 everything, and
It's true.
it's
Yeah.
it's like aquarium gear, aquarium maintenance, and Python came up in every single video. So I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I think I need to buy
Let's
one of
do
these.
that. Yeah. And I learned on the forums, and, they would always talk about, yeah, get a python. So I got a python, and I totally endorse that product. I mean, there are other things you can do. You can use pumps. I mean, that works. But the Python is easy, and it requires really no special tools, and it hooks up to your bathroom sink with no problems. And I have a bathroom right across from me. So because this is my dining room, and there's a bathroom adjacent to it, so I don't even need that long of a Python. I think I have the 15 foot. I could probably get away with the 10.
I have a 50 because I have
Well,
tanks everywhere.
yeah, but your bathroom is kind of centrally located, so.
So Mike said I answered yes to the poll. Currently using Kyle's bucket to change water on the 125. This one, this little bucket.
Oh,
It's like a shot glass, a little bit bigger.
I don't want to live life on hard mode, because it also, a 5-gallon bucket weighs, when it's full, 40 pounds. And
Yeah,
I can't really, lift 40 pounds. I mean, I can, but not like over and over and over. That's kind of, my
yeah.
hands can't
It'll.
really take that. That's
I
too
mean,
much.
that's pretty much everybody. That kind of thing wears you down over time.
Yeah, I mean, also I have hardwood floors, and
No spill.
yeah, I don't want to spill on them. I mean, they're older floors, they're rustic looking, they have charm to them, so a little bit's okay, but I can't be sloshing 5-gallon buckets everywhere.
We've got cheap wood laminate, and it is beyond fucked. Like this floor will be changed out if we move ever.
Yeah, no, my floors are really nice. I mean, this house was built in 1911, and these are oak floors. Like they're pretty. I mean, I have a
Yeah.
lot of pretty woodwork in this house for all its problems.
So Bentley said in the 80s, my dad just used the garden hose, didn't check temps, didn't care. Winter, he rigged the hose to the sink. So yeah, in the winter, I am using I have to turn on the hot water just a little bit. In the summer, I have to do water changes in the middle of the night
Yeah,
just so the water isn't 88 degrees.
yeah.
So
I have to turn the hot water on quite a bit in January here. So we're in a heat wave today. It's I believe it's like 54 degrees today, which is crazy for February. Yeah, it's 54 degrees. So this is a heat wave. It's usually not that warm, but our tap water is really, really cold, and I have to turn the hot water on quite a bit, because if I blast my fish with ice cold water, they don't really like it. It's a little too much for them. So, all right.
Corinne, regarding the poll, I bought my Python yesterday. Does the faucet type matter? Should have asked before I bought it. I had to buy an adapter. They make all kinds of adapters for all
Yeah.
kinds of faucets. And worst case scenario, they make this universal it's just a rubber tube with a worm clamp. But I think most people don't need that, and they just got to figure out what their faucet type is, whether it's like the inner threads or the outer threads. I had to get what's called a Tom Thumb adapter, which is like the smallest opening for a faucet, and it was like the outside threads for it.
So the one it comes with is a brass adapter, and it will work on a standard bathroom sink, which is what I use. It won't work on my kitchen sink, but if you have just like a regular run-of-the-mill bathroom faucet, it will work on that. And what you do is like
That's how I found out mine's not run of the mill. I needed a slightly smaller one. So I use that, the one it comes with, and then there's a Tom Thumb adapter that just makes it slightly smaller.
Yeah, this one, I have a really standard bathroom sink, like what most, like 90% of people have. And you just unscrew the aerator, and then the brass adapter screws in there, the one that it comes with. And then that's what I use. And then I just try not to lose that aerator because I just leave the brass thing in there all the time. And people can just deal when they wash their hands.
That's what I did. Whenever you come over, you're gonna see it's just sticking out of the faucet. It's not laminar flow. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, just check and see, if it works on your sink before you order anything. Because if you're going to use it on a bathroom sink, chances are good it'll work. So
yeah, and if not, you can take like your aerator and the Python adapter stuff to a plumbing supply and just say like, hey, how do I make this fit something with these threads? And they will figure it out for you.
So Sue says Amazon sells a rubber adapter with the hose clamp.
Yeah.
Use that at a rental house with a shower head removed.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard about
you can just put it over anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm lucky. I just use my bathroom sink. That's the closest water source anyways. But everybody uses different water sources. So, all right. What do I do with spirulina powder? So you can put it in your smoothie. It's very nutritious. It tastes a little weird in my opinion, but supposedly it's very nutritious. So there you go. That's one thing you can do. Yeah. But I guess if you wanted to use it to feed your fish, I've heard of people giving a little sprinkle of it to their rainbow fry because it's
I sprinkle some of it in my Grindelwald culture from time to time.
Yeah, it's it's like a really tiny algae that they can eat.
It's gross.
But you can eat it too.
It's nasty.
It will turn your smoothie a very kind of cool color. So I'll leave that up to you.
Make it undrinkable too.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a really bad tasting smoothie in the name of health if you go too crazy. Because I drink a lot of smoothies, but I try to make them taste good. So, yeah.
Oh, wait. So, Alex Novella, speaking of cheap floors, what is the heaviest tank you all would run if you lived in a second floor condo? I can't reinforce from below. So, yeah.
I don't know. It depends on your floors. I'd have to see them. I lived in a second floor in a condo, and I think I had a 29 and a 20. Part of that was budget. That's what I had. I would have
when I lived at home, I was on I lived upstairs and I had a queen size water bed up there.
Yeah.
But it was a house that my dad and grandpa built themselves. So
yeah, and my dad, I mean, he's retired now, but he used to build houses. And I asked him about this house, like how he would feel about like a big tank, and he's like, oh, those floors are rock solid, like you can put a 200-gallon tank in, it'll be fine. So but I can't tell you because I haven't seen your floors. Also, fun fact about me, I have no structural engineering background, none.
Yeah, I don't know who you would ask, like your landlord.
The landlord's just gonna say no.
Yeah, like don't do it.
Yeah, and the thing is it's not the weight they're worried about, it's the water damage
coming through the neighbor's ceiling.
And they have a point. Like, they have a point.
Kelly and her lovely oak floors and inability to grow duckweed. Any more flexes you care to share?
Any more flexes? All right, what other flexes do I have today? Nothing's coming to mind.
You are currently not sick.
This week I'm not. Yeah. God, it's been a tough. I think a lot of people have been sick a lot this
Yeah,
winter.
it's going around.
My sister has been sick a lot. So Whip says that I look fantabulous today. Well, thank you. And Steven, you look okay.
Okay. I'll take that.
I mean, I have a slight tan right now because I did go to Colombia. Not much though, because I'm very careful with my skin. I wear sunscreen and hats and everything, but it's the tropics, so I guess I tanned a little.
Stan, 30 tanks and have to use RO, so it's those buckets all the way.
You don't have to live like that, Stan. Get a pump. So
yeah, I have the RO outside.
Yeah,
yep, outside a trash can and a pump, and I have the hose clamped right by a window by the sink. I open the window and I have a quick connect on it, and then I actually tell Google to turn on the pump.
I love it. I love it. I mean, a lot of people, they keep their RO in their basement in trash cans or like in a closet, but like you don't gotta live like that, Stan. Like, use a trash can and pumps. Pumps don't cost much money, but like you can get repetitive injury from hauling all those buckets. You can ruin your floors from buckets. Like, you don't gotta live that way. Hello, Rico. We love you. We do have a ton of new people. It's true. We get new people every week, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. This is a cool place to be. All right, Oinky's got something for me and for you. Dun, da, da. I attempted to save a Dumbo Koi neon female Betta with a huge belly. After her passing, a bright yellow fluid began leaking out of her body. Any ideas what it could be? Can send you pics. Don't send pics because I don't want to see it. That sounds awful. There's a reason I'm not an animal pathologist. Like, ugh. It sounds like a huge bacterial infection.
Oof.
Would be my guess, but I am not a veterinarian or a pathologist or someone with a strong stomach. All right, Vibes is giving us health tips. Sprinkle spirulina in your coffee every morning.
That'll probably disguise the flavor.
Cheese, Vibes.
Disgusting.
I don't drink coffee. It's a little much on my stomach. And
would it turn cottage cheese like a blue-green color?
I think it would turn it a beautiful color.
A nice swirl of spirulina.
I mean, when's the last time I bought spirulina? Maybe I should buy some and put it in a smoothie just to report back. Like, would I really notice like a quarter teaspoon of it? I don't know. I mean, it is very good for you, though. It has a lot of fatty acids that are they're difficult to get in our diets. You know, it's just like krill oil is very, very good for you. Fish oil is very good for you. It has fatty acids that are good for our hearts. They taste kind of gross. So, all right, Alishon says, picked up a bunch of live glass worms yesterday at Ted's club meeting. They are the larvae of a midge fly. Haven't seen them in years, as San Francisco Bay, blah, blah, discontinued them, collected from a lake in northern Michigan. I would be terrified that those would pupate into flies.
Yeah.
Those sound terrifying because some of those midges up in northern Michigan, God, they bite and it hurts. It hurts. Oh, Jesus, it hurts. So,
yeah. I will stick with my frozen worms and grindleworm cultures until I lose this culture, and then I'm done with them. I'm forgetting to feed them, and I'm like feeding them like once a week now, which as the culture grows is probably not a good idea. But also I'm not breeding fish and I just don't like care.
Yeah, that's where, you know, I only have so much brain power to devote to live food. Like, I feel like if I put more brain power into feeding a worm, will I forget to feed the cats? I mean, I think they'd remind me.
Got it. Send Kelly all the questionable pics of gross things.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't want to see it.
Such as a
No,
picture of Lumi's tumor.
don't want to see it. Ew. No.
Whoa.
I actually will choose jobs, because I do regulatory medical writing based on how gross I think the papers will be. So one of my friends, she has written regulatory papers for dental, and she's like, "Don't do it. Gross mouth pictures are nasty." And I think the worst though would be like wound care devices. Ugh,
Oh.
ugh, yeah. Apparently, like vaginal mesh is also bad to write for.
No thanks. Yeah.
No thanks. But things like hospital patient monitoring, that's just like charts of like ECGs. That's easy. So, anyways, yeah, I get grossed out. All right, Alshon says that you keep it in the fridge and we'll be done with them this week. You know what? If I were your wife, I would also be done with you this week. I'm not putting up with that shit in my fridge.
Yeah.
So, I hope you have a separate a separate fridge for your fish room.
I keep the frozen fish food in the freezer, and it's got its own shelf.
Too. Yeah, and yeah, it's in its own shelf. I also keep fish food that I'm not yet ready to open, but that's in a sealed container. I do have my brine shrimp eggs in the fridge. So, but I'm not putting a worm culture in. Yeah. All right, Corey Dora. Is that a new name? Is that a new person?
He's been around. Like
I love
I've seen him
name.
in Steam.
Is it a him or her? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I gender people without. Yeah.
We just don't know. Anyways, welcome. Grindle worms are fun. I feel the pain of forgetting to feed them. They are more annoying to feed than my fish are. I know. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. Oh, Sue says send rainbow pics to Kelly. That sounds more like it. Or cat pics. Send pictures of your cats. Flower pictures. You could send pictures of your babies, I guess. That would be fine. But no like tumor pictures. No like zit popping pictures.
Oh,
no dead
can't.
fish pictures. Yeah.
Some people like that can't.
No, don't want it. Don't want it.
How this become the wet your gross pictures?
Wet your grossness. Stream. Yeah. So Emily has a separate fridge for fish related things after getting in a lot of trouble with the significant other. Yeah. Yeah. And you can get a mini fridge real easy on Facebook Marketplace for hardly any money, especially when the semester ends for colleges. It's a good time to pick one up. All right.
Lost the viewer. Oh, well, we suck.
No.
Bye.
Just can't get into it. Well, you know what? You can't please them all.
What I like about this stream and Friday night stream is that everyone here are people I would like to hang out with as well. So it's kind of a mutual thing.
Maybe I don't want to hang out with that person.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can't hang out with everyone. I don't know why you would make a comment. Just can't get into it.
Well,
I don't know why you bother.
People are people.
Yeah, people can suck. Yeah. They can suck.
Fish are in my face about being fed. Worms just sit on the shelf and don't remind me.
Cats are like that too.
And they're closed up, kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I have a culture of springtails for my terrariums, and I remember to feed it twice a year, and they're somehow fine. I mean,
and the vinegar eels are worse. Like I don't notice those until the culture has like crashed, and it's been like 2 years.
Whoops!
I don't know why I do these things. Like I'm not breeding fish. I have nothing that I want to feed vinegar eels to. Yet I put them on a fridge years ago, and there they are.
Yeah. So Geek Boy suggests you send your hybrid rainbow pics to me, or just send rainbows under a Chihuahua light. I mean, I have Chihuahua lights, so I wouldn't shock me. And as for your hybrids, I don't know if I would be the person to notice that. Like, I'm not really the rainbow police in my group.
Peacock gudgeons with a Betta fish. And what tank size for
Oh,
peacock gudgeon.
I feel like that would be okay. I don't know. I have never. No, aren't peacock gudgeons kind of like a? Can they be like a little aggressive?
I've
When
never
they
had them. Geek
Geek
has
Boy
a
should
bunch
he
of
should
them.
answer.
I don't know. He doesn't have bettas as far as I know. And the thing about a betta, just what I know about bettas is that it can be sure the betta would be fine with everything that doesn't bother it, or it hates everything and
They
wants it
do
all.
have personalities. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put anything that would fin nip with a betta. I would not do that. My inclination would be this is a no. Let's see what Geek Boy says because he breeds those. Was somebody up there suggesting diarrhea pics to me? Come on, Whip. Come on. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Thank you, Vibes. Again, like to hang
Thank
out with everyone, but
you.
that Vibes guy.
Oh, I've heard he's really cool, but
You've hung out with Vibes.
I have, but like he's gonna want to serve you cottage cheese. Maybe you don't want that.
Just say no. Don't give in. That Bentley guy is insufferable.
God, Bentley, I hope that you and your wife feel better and that your surgeries go well. And I'm keeping you guys in my heart. And I know that surgeries are scary, and I hope you guys do well. So, all right. Corinne says that her scarlet bodice and toothpick fish love the vinegar eels. So those toothpick fish are tiny little guys.
They are, yeah. I could see them going after it.
But apparently the co-op small food is a prepared food they'll go for. I don't know, Corinne, have you tried that, the co-op small food yet for your toothpick fish? Let us know.
And the Battis will go after it, and I think the jury's still out on pygmy sunfish. But yeah. And that's kind of more my speed. If I'm not, I don't intend to have a breeding factory, and I don't care that like if the brine shrimp will trigger spawning better than something else. Just trying to simplify my life in fish room and start with that kind of stuff and set up tanks that I like, and then I guess I'll like organize and streamline the equipment and the cords. But that's like one of those things that I just kind of shut out of my mind for a little while, and until I get really bored.
You know, I need Brian of Peplin Farms to come over and just do that for me, because his cords are all organized, and I don't have that.
And build you some stuff, some racks.
He would make my life. He would fix a lot of things. I could use that in exchange. Like I could give him rainbows. Like he pretty much will do anything for rainbows, turns out. So yeah, it's a good mix. But he's too far away.
Let's call them what they really are. The Scarlet Badass. I had a Battis for a little while.
I've never had those. Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
They're pretty.
I got a couple of understocked / barely stocked at all nano tanks that I need to do something with.
Yeah. I'm so behind in chat.
Sorry. I went to the bottom. So if there was a question for us that we missed, let us know. Just ask it again.
So Geek Boy says only aggression I've seen from the gudgeons is to Mystery Snail and Penny. Ooh. But I agree with Kelly. They may like to taste a betta fin or two. So there you go. And bettas can be aggressive or they can be super chill. Who can say? So have a backup plan. But also maybe pick a different fish. What's a good fish with the betta? I mean, there's no guarantees with the betta.
Right. It could be a lot of things, or it could be nothing. Corridoras, like I've always, if the betta would go for it, like pygmy corys and habrosis, I kept with a couple of bettas and some smaller guppies, but like I don't know if the frilly fin guppies would make the betta upset, but like some of the more streamlined ones seem to be okay. White cloud mountain minnows, except for the temperature disparity, so I wouldn't recommend that.
True, yeah, because the betta's like a little hot.
Yeah,
I have only ever kept a betta alone. I'm not a huge betta fan, so
I want to get some wild type bettas.
Yeah, I think those are
maybe
really pretty, like the macrostoma or the mahakiensis.
Salowins, whatever. Yeah. Or
Yeah, those are really pretty. Like I don't know why anyone would keep the fussy ones that don't live that long when the wild type ones look so good.
yeah.
So, but I think that 15 years ago, I think a Betta would live a lot longer. Now you're lucky to get a year out of a Betta.
Yeah, just today, Aquatic Moose was saying he lost his Betta that was 5 years old. So I
That's a
mean, that
lot.
sucks to lose a fish like that, but
Because
it's
they're
also
real
like
wet.
it's a really good run for a Betta.
It is a good run, but that's sad because they really are wet pets. They have a lot of personality, and I think my Betta lived for like 2 years, but I didn't have it warm enough. I think I didn't know back then that Bettas like to be a little warmer. I think I only had it at 75, so maybe it wasn't as happy as it could have been. I don't know, but it did live 2 years, so maybe it was fine. I don't know.
When I did the Betta White Cloud combo without doing research properly, when I found out that the White Clouds prefer it cooler, I tried to do like split the difference and keep it in the mid 70s. But that
White Clouds
particular
are okay in
Betta,
the mid 70s, though, in my opinion. I
yeah,
think
but the Betta was not. That was the problem. The
no.
Betta was very much inactive. Like as soon as I got rid of the White Clouds, I bumped the temp up to like 80, and the Betta perked up a lot. Like got way more active.
So, but I mean, even with the best of care, I don't think they just don't seem to live that long, the Betta splendens. So an Oinky says use caution putting anything with the Betta. Either they get bullied or are bullies themselves. And I do think that that's words to live by. Like a lot of people want to keep shrimp with their Bettas. Sometimes it works. Sometimes the Betta gets really snacky and they eat all of them.
Betta should be kept alone at a 125.
That's right. What a terrible stocking plan. I wouldn't, let's put it this way. I think a Betta should have at least a 5-gallon tank. But I guess if you want to get it a 125-gallon tank, you could.
Well, there is the theory that like if Bettas are not used to that much open water, it kind of freaks them out a little bit to be in.
Yeah. I mean, the way they're bred, they're in little vases much of their life. I mean, I think that in a bigger tank, if you have a Betta with tank mates, you want to have lots of hardscape in there. So the Betta has a little place to call its own. So
is a Betta and a 125 even enough to keep a cycle going? I feel like the ammonia would take the entire lifetime of the Betta to accumulate anyway. Like you put one plant in there and you got that taken care of.
Anything in there. I mean, I'm probably not producing enough ammonia to keep a cycle going because I have so many plants and the plants just suck it up. So, All right. Shady Grady is excited to see Whip. So Oinky says that female Bettas can be stronger, faster swimmers than males, especially the types with very full fins. I mean, wasn't it like 5 years ago, like everybody wanted a Betta sorority? Wasn't that a thing? And then didn't it just never work out for anyone? I don't know.
I don't know.
I've never tried.
I've never seen like here's a 5-year update or a 10-year update or something like that on the sorority. I won't assume that they all have gone south. It's just not something that I want to attempt myself.
All right. Yeah.
So Foxy is wanting to know if we're going to be able to make it to this year's Wisconsin Fishfam barbecue. We are both honorary Wisconsinites.
I don't know. Isn't it the end of July?
August. It's
end of August.
Beginning of August on her birthday.
Right, beginning of August. Hard to say because we always travel for the 4th of July. So that's a week I'm gone. It's hard to say because while it seems like Wisconsin is not that far away, for me to get to Foxy's place,
still a half day, right?
Like an 8-hour drive. It's still kind of far. That drive is through Chicago. It's always
we would absolutely love to come to Peplin Farm under whatever pretense possible.
Flying to
Each
Peppermint Farm
year
is
we
not
have,
easy.
yeah, we have with our vacation time, considering that we're both only been in our jobs for a couple of years,
Yeah.
we have enough vacation time to do a family vacation with the kids and
Mhm.
then a fish convention. And with Jenna's heavy involvement with the Clash, that's been our fish convention for the last few years. Maybe when we accumulate more vacation time, but
Yeah.
a fish anything is not on the kids' wish list of vacation spots. So we do
No.
something that's separate with them for
Yeah.
now.
And it's not easy to fly to Peppermint Farm because Madison is still a couple hours from Peppermint Farm. I think that's the closest airport, and it's not a
If I,
huge airport. So
she
like you're gonna
said,
have
there's an airport one road over. No excuse.
I don't think many flights go into that airport. It's like it's hard enough to fly into Madison. They don't get a lot of flights there. All right. Sarah says, I've never tried more than 4 female bettas together. 3 seems to work well. Well, there you go. I've never tried it.
Cool.
I've never had a female betta. All right.
Re-asking for a friend. Anyone familiar? Tips with Hygrophila Sunset.
We both have grown it. My trip is to do nothing, put it in a tank, and watch it take over. It's a total weed. Total
Yeah,
weed. It doesn't
it's
need much
pretty
light.
tolerant of most water parameters. Though now, if you want good coloration out of it, that's when the lighting matters. But
Yeah.
if you just want it to grow, then you just toss it in a tank and make sure that light is it has access to light and nutrients, and it will make use of all of them.
I guess if I were to give a tip with it, it would be to never sell it because it is illegal in the United
Yeah,
States.
but
It is
people who
very
have come
addictive,
to obtain it in some
right?
method,
And
we won't ask how.
we won't ask how. And I would also say to be careful how you dispose it. You know, don't put it in your pond. That's an irresponsible thing to do. But
But yeah,
otherwise,
see,
if you want to grow it inside,
got a little bit of it right there.
well, a little bit.
No idea
I
where
don't
it
have
came
any of
from.
it.
It just
I would never grow that plant again with CO2. Jesus, you can't even keep up. Can't even keep up. I will say that is one of the only plants that I've seen successfully work with Mbuna cichlids. I am not an expert on African cichlids. However, when I lived in
it just
Iowa,
outpaces their appetite.
yeah, I had a friend in Iowa, and he had your standard Mbuna overstocked, tank. It was really beautiful, and he grew tons of that stuff, and they would nip it and play with it and bite it, and it didn't matter because it grew so fast. And it was with these like shitty fluorescent lights from back then, not even good lights, and it still grew fine. So I don't have tips for it because no tips are needed. It's
Yeah,
super
it
easy.
seems to thrive. And yeah, just if you want it to look like, even with the coloration in the tank behind me, if I had a little bit more light on it, it would look a lot better. As it grows taller, it looks better.
He
I
had almost
used to
no light on it. I mean, these were like, the big fluorescent
We're talking about
tubes.
the sunset
Yeah, the
stuff.
Hygro Sunset with
It gets
almost
a
no
little
light.
redder.
And it still looked great. It still was pink.
I had to take it
So
out off the plant farm, and I took it out of the plant farm because it was taking over. It was too much
too
work
much.
to trim
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's that plant. I'll never grow it again. It's too much.
How narrow-minded of your culture. Or no, not I saw culture. Chillins. Okay, I think what happened with our children is the first fish convention that we took them to was the Triple Crown,
Maybe
which
that
was
was too
like
much.
5 it wasn't just here's a little hint of a fish convention. It was
It
like,
was too much.
here is all fish convention all week.
Yeah.
So I think we traumatized them for a little while.
I mean, this will be the 3rd time I visited your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by now they kind of like me. I don't think they're excited to see me.
I think they're indifferent.
I think they're pretty neutral on it. I don't think they're upset to see me.
Yeah, well, it's just with Zachary, it's like, how long do I have to be away from my video games?
Yeah, I don't think they're like, oh, yay, Aunt Kelly's coming. I don't think, yeah. but I don't think they hate me. So
Well, they like going out to eat. So
this is true. I am gonna try to remember to bring clippings of terrarium plants for your daughter's for her gecko terrarium.
oh, that'd be awesome. Because yeah, it's a little
'cause I've
lacking.
got
We
some
have
stuff.
a couple of things in there, but
Yeah, I've got some stuff, some cuttings and stuff that she
sweet.
can use. She still will not care, but you know.
No, actually, she will, and she actually
Oh,
wants me to
that's
set up
good.
a lattice, kind of like what we have in the fish room,
Oh
for
yeah.
her tank to have some, because she got some potted fake plants, and I'm like, if you're into the plants, I could totally take one of them shitty hikers that I have doing nothing, mount that
Oh
up
yeah.
on the ceiling, and we
And
can go to town with that.
I've got stuff that will climb that and look really good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So,
Well, maybe that'll
and
make her happy. Jake is super excited to see the gecko. He doesn't care about any of your fish,
well,
but he
the
wants to see your
gecko
gecko and your cat.
doesn't move.
Well, I mean,
The gecko is like the
Spirulina,
weeping angels from
yeah.
Doctor Who. Like if you're looking at that
Oh,
gecko, it's a statue.
I mean, really, he likes Brooklyn's. What is that thing that she
The
has?
bearded dragon.
Drogon. Jake loves Drogon. He loves Drogon. He's so cute.
So Anna Banana says it's true that Bettas get freaked out with large spaces. First tank I had, my Betta was 2.5 gallons. Tried to move him to a 10, and it was always in the corner hiding behind some plants. Had to take it step by step.
Huh.
And I did miss this, Corinne. Sorry. She said, don't think you saw my message, but so far with the Battis and toothpick fish, they haven't actively gone after the small fish feed.
Oh, that's too bad. So you're stuck with live food.
Not sure if they eat it when we are looking. Yeah.
Well, you tried. And I mean, I have heard from other people that they're difficult to feed and require live feed. So I know that Foxy and Brian have those, and they are you guys breeding any of those guys? Do you have any going now? I know you've tried
the toothpick fish.
Yeah, the toothpicks. Yeah, let us know. Peplin Farms.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a cool new website. Maybe a mod can drop that. Obviously,
that's
they're not
right.
shipping fish now. They live in Wisconsin. It's too cold.
Get Gills has shuttered their doors.
It has. But Foxy and Brian have a really cool new website. So for all, I guess not all of your fish needs, but many of your fish needs.
All the cool fish.
It's true. They don't have any fish that suck, except the plecos.
Speaking of which, hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
Great timing.
That was good timing. I don't like plecos, but I love Rebecca.
Will you hold the gargoyle gecko?
I mean, if it wants to be held, I would. I mean, Jake would. Jake loves little critters like that. Yeah. If it wants to. I mean, we would not make it if it didn't want to. But yeah, we really want to see that gecko.
So Daniel Ingle said, I voted yes on still having a bucket for water changes, but my systems haven't had a significant water change in over 8 months.
Wow. I'm a dedicated water changer. If I could do one thing for my life, it would be to plumb water changes so I could just flip a valve, and then I would change water like twice a week.
Just do flow through.
Yeah, I would do that too.
You have to fertilize the hell out of the plants if you did that, though.
I mean, I have to fertilize the hell out of them anyways. I mean, I would just put that on an auto.
Yeah, you'd have an easy green drip system too.
Yeah, I would do that. But I think I love water changes for plants. I love them for fish. I think everything is happier with water changes. Every fish is happy. All right. Foxhand says it's Saturday, August 2nd. Bring your tent, Kelly. I don't own a tent. I mean, when I was younger, I camped a lot. And now I stay in hotels. My bones are old. I'm not sleeping on the ground.
Vibes, did we miss a question? Super chat. Hang on.
Man, we are not doing great today.
Oh, does anyone selective breed brine shrimp? For what?
I'm sure someone has. I mean, you have to breed them in salt water. I
We're
know
gonna
that,
get like
like,
ornamental brine shrimp in the
I
hobby.
mean, why not? I mean, there's even full grown, they're not that big though. Doesn't like I know that Corey would culture them outside in saltwater tubs, so he would always have live food. I think I've heard of other people doing that as well. That is not something I ever want to do,
Yeah,
but follow your bliss. All right, Mandarin Goby asks, what types of loaches that territorial and aggressive toward other fish, but they were very cool. What's the
so territorial loaches.
I
I
mean,
haven't kept very many. Like I have zebra
that's
loaches. I have different types of coolies, like
the
different species of
yo-yos.
those, and I've never had yo-yos
I like them. I like them.
and hill streams, which are
Hail streams
way
are not
different,
really, yeah, they're not
right?
really loaches. They're not territorial. The yo-yos can be a little territorial, but they're so cool. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, clown loaches aren't aggressive. I love clown loaches. I think they're awesome.
Well, they're
They're
also gigantic.
Yeah, but they grow real slow. They get there slow, but yeah,
You got to be committed though, because you want to
yeah,
keep
they
a
live a
big
long
group of
time.
them, and then they turn into
Yeah, a
footballs at
huge
some
group.
point.
They are
Yeah,
so cool though. They are so cool. And they're just such characters. I mean, they like to like sleep on their side and yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's the only loaches I've had. So the yo-yos could get a little territorial, but not bad.
hmm
I mean, I liked it though.
Tell me
All
you
right.
got some orange-throated darters and a 20 long caught in the creek side today.
Nice. I bet Nancy will want to hear about that. She is very into native fishes. I
hmm
love darters. We saw some at the Tennessee Aquarium, which is a really cool place. If you're nearby Chattanooga, it's worth the drive. It's an awesome aquarium. I really liked it, and they have a lot of darters there. And yeah, I think native fish are super cool. Good catch. Make sure you quarantine them.
Daniel's tried some mini Hyger air pumps that run their small 3-in-1 sponge filters. They work really good as supplemental aeration bubbles. And he's interested in trying Hyger's new HOB that hang on the back canister filter. I think a few people have done some reviews of that. If you haven't seen those around, check that out.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
don't know
tried
if they've been positive or negative though.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I don't use hang on the back filters. I just find them too loud. I use canisters. So I
Well, this one's hang on the back canister. It's
Oh, it's a
a
hang on the back
smaller
canister.
canister that hangs on
Huh.
the tank.
Hmm. I don't
I
have
don't know
any
if that
really tiny tanks
changes. I don't
either.
know if that changes like the ease of maintenance, or I
Yeah.
imagine it looks like a smaller canister filter meant for a little bit smaller
Hmm.
tank.
Yeah, I don't have any really tiny tanks, so I don't know that it would be for me. But let's see if someone in the chat's used it.
Yeah,
So Oinky says, for all those who have attended the recent Aquashella and have seen that big Betta sorority tank, I wonder how many sorority sisters have taken each other out. Yeah, I've
I've
heard they
seen the
can
kiddie
be
pool
aggressive.
of the female bettas at Aquashella
Yeah, they
years
can be
ago.
aggressive. Emily says you're not Aunt Kelly yet. I am an aunt. Well, not to Steven's kids. I have nephews. They call me Aunt Kelly. I just don't see Steven's kids ever referring to me as Aunt Kelly. I just don't see that happening. I mean, I'm lucky if they acknowledge my existence. Steven's kids are very shy. They are very different from how I was as a child. I was very loud and talkative. And my nephews
Yeah,
are also pretty loud too.
me and Jenna both being introverts, they had
Yeah.
no hope of being extroverted.
Yeah. I was pretty extroverted back then, continued to be pretty extroverted. So,
I think I don't know how genetics work. Probably not this way, but it seems like Jenna's introversion and my introversion sort of like combined to make Zachary's introversion that much more concentrated?
I don't know. I mean, my parents are both fairly introverted, especially my mother. But my sister, actually, all of us are pretty extroverted. Heather is super extroverted. She's probably more extroverted than I am. So,
A
all right.
plant question. Yay.
Huzzah!
If my KH is 3 and GH 8, fantastic, magnificent. Should I use my
Excellent.
RO water to lower
Flawless.
that KH a tad more to
No.
help get more out of CO2? I
No,
wouldn't
I
even
think
put
you
in
should
the
just be
effort.
like, I think you should just be happy with your life
Yeah.
and move on. I mean, oh God, I would love that water.
Yeah.
There are maybe 1 or 2 plants you can't grow, but yeah, you could grow a lot of things. Your water's better than ours. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
Unless you like want to become like a collector of super rare plants.
She would want to grow blood vomit and tonina,
Ugh.
which is an ugly plant.
It's an ugly plant. Yeah, I wouldn't. I would just use your tap water, and I would high five your fiance every time you walk by. And like, yeah, we have awesome water. That's what I would do.
Just go to sleep every night with a smile on your face about how great your water is.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, Whip said even Lisa, KG Tropicals, gave up on the female Betta sorority idea.
Yeah.
And she had one running for a while too. So I guess, yeah.
I think it's difficult. I heard that Dean from his tip was to go for siblings or sisters for your sorority, like genetic sisters. He thought that would be better.
Okay.
Maybe it is. I don't know. But
that's the thing though. It's a hard thing to test because if it goes wrong, you either got injured or dead fish, or now you've got to like find 3 other tanks to separate these bettas.
I would just ask yourself why you want that and see if maybe there's another fish that could kind of give you that effect. Like if you like the color and like the flowy fins, maybe you would like guppies or endlers and they're really peaceful. Or maybe there's another fish that would kind of give you that effect. Like there's probably something else. Any tips for fern planting? So what kind of fern? Like Java ferns or like,
terrestrial ferns,
maidenhair ferns, or I mean, there are lots of aquatic ferns. There are lots of terrestrial ferns. So, let us know which ones.
Yeah, like Java fern planting is just you can put the roots in substrate or you can attach it. Okay, Java ferns. So yeah.
Okay.
You can attach it to hardscape.
Yeah, I like to use super glue. I think that's easy. Or usually what I do is I just shove it between rocks a little bit and it'll anchor itself.
Yeah, I am 100% use friction to plant Anubias and Boost and stuff like that.
But I don't plant it in the substrate. It can rot if you get like
you don't want to bury the rhizome, but like the roots can go into the substrate. I don't like necessarily plan for that, but they do find their way in the substrate the lower they are.
Yeah, if they anchor themselves in the substrate, whatever. But I usually either like wedge them between rocks or glue them to something. You can use thread, cotton thread, which will degrade. You can use rubber bands and then cut them later. But I think super glue and wedging them between rocks is the easiest choice.
And Whip said, in case you missed it, I'm guessing that's most of you, I'm a proud surrogate pappy as of at least yesterday. Got babies, just not sure if they're Petricola or July Dickfeldi.
Wow. So like Synodontis?
Yeah, Petricola, I think that's the cuckoo, and I don't know what the July one is.
I remember some people in the fish club I was in Iowa bred Synodontis petricola. That's pretty cool. Wow. Congrats on becoming a daddy yet again.
Ooh, those look way cool.
Which one? The Synodontis petricola?
Julie de Chromis.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Cichlids are very pretty. Emily says, LOL. Kelly hates DIY. Do you think she owns a tent? I camped a lot when I was younger. I had all the camping equipment, and I camped quite a bit before, when I was a poor grad student. Then I got a horrible back injury in my early 30s and quit camping. And now I will hike a lot, but turns out I can afford cabins and hotels, which
Yeah,
makes
if we are
much
gonna go to this
nicer.
Peplin Farm barbecue at some point, I'm either gonna be curled up at the foot of the bed with Foxy and Peplin, or we're gonna go find a hotel.
That's true. Yeah, I will stay in a hotel. Also, I don't know if Jake has ever camped. That is not something that Jake do. He's doesn't want to do that. And now he'd be like, we're people with jobs. We can get a hotel.
Oh. So Rebecca says Synodontis petricola is a cave spawner. The multipunctatus, that's the dickhead version of the cuckoo cat.
Right.
That's the one that lays all of its eggs among all of the cichlids, and then they come in, and the cichlids scramble to get up all the eggs, and of course they swallow. They get some of the catfish eggs, and the catfish eggs hatch first and gobble up all the other eggs, and yeah, it's not a pretty sight.
Just like the cuckoo birds, they're egg predators. All right. So Zenny also suggests, or Dee Dee suggests, you could use zip ties if the hardscape works with your ferns. Absolutely. You can use zip ties and then come back and clip them when they've adhered. Totally works.
Let's see. A tip to newbies to plants: research the plant you want first. Oh yeah. Bought a purple waffle plant, was submerged at LFS just to find out only roots should be.
That amazes me that they're still doing that. It's crazy. If you have the purple
they
waffle
flip
plant,
the plant so fast you don't even know. Like they get them and they sell them the next day, and it looks beautiful because it hasn't started to rot yet.
Yeah. So I think the scientific name for that is hemigraphis, and it is really nice in a terrarium if you want to grow it that way. It's very pretty. So, but yes, it will die.
Ooh, pretty.
Oinky says a fish that relies on another fish to incubate its brood in that manner. How rude! Indeed,
Very rude. There's like a whole subset of TikToks of like cuckoo birds being humbled is like the topic of it. Just
that's right. You guys have cuckoo birds down there in the south. I don't know that we have many of them in the north. Maybe if Eric Wyrock is watching, he will correct me because I don't have a lot of expertise into birds, whereas he does. But I know you guys have them down south. So,
purple waffle, you say? Inner 14-year-old giggles.
Not a blue waffle.
Blue, oh yeah. Don't Google that. God, don't Google that.
Oh. So
I Googled purple waffle and plants came up.
So Foxanne says, you are welcome at the foot of our bed, Stephen. You can even have a dental stick with Shane before sleeping.
Something soothing. Yeah.
Do you need a chew toy, Stephen?
Either that or an internet connected smartphone for the insomnia.
Something to gnaw on.
Well.
Well, I made it to the bottom of the chat.
Me too.
I think I probably missed a lot of chat.
There's a lot. I was looking for plant questions, but if there are none, then I do have a little bit more work to do this evening, and maybe Scotty will start early. And there's a cat.
Maybe you can all see Fat Kitty for a moment. How you doing, Fat Kitty? How you
doing? He doesn't put up much of a fight. He just kind of like, stop. Don't like it.
Why are you so kissable and huggable? There's Tiny Kitty, but she will not have it. It's not
OMG, he's gigantic. Yeah.
well,
Any good tips for hard water lines inside the tank?
Oh, so like if you have RO water is my best tip. So I have had hard water. This is not a problem you have, Stephen, because you have no GH in your water. But when I lived in Iowa, I always had a little evaporation line. So my first tip is to always be topping off, like never not be topping off. You can scrub it with a Mr. Clean and Magic eraser. If you are cleaning up a tank, like an old tank that you want to clean up to use it, you can use lemon juice or vinegar. Those are safe. And then just rinse them really well when you're done, and that will dissolve the hard water line. But if you want to permanently reduce that condition, you kind of need RO water, or at least partial RO water.
Razor blades can help.
Yeah, razor blades can help.
If you got to stay on top of it, for sure.
Wow. But always be topping. Always be topping off, because you won't see the hard water line if you top off all the time. But it does suck. I lived in Iowa and I always had them. It is just the life of too high of GH. With a GH of 6, I don't get them. I don't get them at all. So, if you can reduce your GH some, I don't suggest a water softener though, because your plants don't want sodium ions.
Yeah, it just increases the conductivity, really.
Yeah, and it's not just the conductivity. They, plants don't like sodium ions. They like potassium ions. They don't like sodium. It's just their metabolism is different than ours. So, you're not making your plants healthy. You won't have water lines anymore because it doesn't precipitate out. Sodium doesn't, like calcium and magnesium doesn't. But so water, your only option is RO. All right. What types of gobies that live in freshwater aquariums are easy to keep alive or hard alive? So I have lots and lots of Stiphodon gobies, and they're super cute. They are very, very tiny. My advice for them is to keep them make sure your tank is at least 6 months old. If you have a newer tank, they will die because they need a lot of what's called Aufwuchs, which is a word I really love. It's a German word that means kind of like the scum on your tank. It's like bacteria and
biofilm.
Algae. Yeah, and they graze on that. That's what they eat. And and there's no shortcut to getting that. The bacteria in a bottle, not enough. The only way to get that is time. So wait 6 months before you add them. And then they're super easy. They don't get that big. You could put like 5 or 6 of them even in a 10-gallon tank. And they're peaceful. They like to live in happy little groups. So I would get at least a few of them. And I love them. They live a long time. They're very cute. I've also had Sikiopterus gobies, which are bigger. They kind of rasped on my swords a little bit because they have kind of bigger sucker mouths, but they're not as bad as a pleco. And they were also super cute. They didn't seem to live too long. They lived a couple years. They were wild caught though. I believe all of these are wild caught. I've never heard of anyone breeding them. I think so,
yeah.
Gudgeons people breed, like especially peacock gudgeons, like Geek Boy's breeding those all the time. They're pretty easy to breed. But I've never heard of anyone breeding the little Stiphodon gobies. I've heard the bumblebee gobies. People have those. I've never had those. But I do recommend the little Stiphodons.
Yeah, I think the true freshwater bumblebee is kind of like the intro to freshwater gobies for people. I haven't had a single goby, so I don't know what it's like to keep them. I do know everybody says have a super established tank.
Super established, yeah. But then they're easy. And I have, I think, like 20 of them in this tank. And they're just happy little guys. They're super cute. So
how do I get my watermelon plant to grow taller?
Right. Like a real watermelon or something that has a common name of a watermelon plant that is not
Lindernia rotundifolia.
Oh, that. I was like, you mean like the kind that makes watermelons that you eat? It doesn't really grow tall. So, But Lindernia rotundifolia, does that get that tall? I've never grown it. I mean, it's kind of bushy, right?
It's a stem plant, right?
Yeah, it's a stem. I don't really like stems, so
never had it.
I
should
should
order it and mess around with it. I mean, if you're trying to get a stem plant to grow taller, if you just like lower your light intensity, it will try to reach out for the light, but it's not going to look as good.
Look good. Some plants want to be more bushy.
Yeah.
I think that is one that is more bushy. And you can't force things to be what they're not. Like, it kind of wants to be, if I recall, I might mix it with something else. It wants to be a little bit more of a mid-ground plant that's more bushy. And I would just let it be what it is. If you want something that's tall, like Bacopa, it's really tall.
Yeah, that can get pretty tall without getting super leggy, as long as it's not overly shaded.
Lots of plants that get tall. Hard to find plants that are mid-ground plants. So I would just enjoy it for what it is. So Benjamin Peters points out something that is a good point. Magic eraser sponges leave large amounts of microplastics in the environment. It's a good point. They're made of melamine, and they
break down.
Greatest use of them. So it is good to avoid using them. I think it's good that you.
They are so freaking effective, though.
I know, but razor blades are a good choice.
Yeah.
You can use lemon juice in a scrub brush.
No.
I know.
Razor blades
for cleaning algae. I like razor blades. I like the razor blade on a stick. That's my favorite way. I don't use magic erasers because I can't stand the way they feel on my fingers. Like, I'm grossed out by it. Because I have like super sensitive fingernails. Right. Yeah,
so Stiphodons are one of those. The fry need to be in salt water.
I did not know that, but you know what, Geek Boy? It makes sense, and that's why they're always wild caught. Got it. It makes sense. They are cute little fish, and if somebody were to breed them, and they always sell for good money too. So if you want like a breeding project on hard mode, there you go. Yeah. They are so cute, though. So cute. So Scotty says he's ready. He's ready.
Well, everybody head over to Scotty.
That's right. Because no Steenfots tonight. They are sick.
Yeah, they're sick.
And isn't there usually another stream on Monday?
Hagen Hill goes at 6 Central. I don't know if they're scheduled, but yeah, they usually go every week at 6 o'clock.
Right. But you can watch Scotty and you can ask him about his cats because Cheddar is in the cone of shame. That's a development. Yep. Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for being here, except that one person who was like, nope, we don't
he ain't
want
coming
you.
Back. I mean,
he's not coming back.
It'll be the definition of insanity. Like, come back and expect it to be different.
You know what? But, they'll probably come back, though, just to complain.
Well, I'll preemptively hide him. I'm very anti-negativity. I don't give a shit. I'm like, if you're a negative person, goodbye.
Yeah, I have no qualms banning people. I ban people in my rainbow group all the time. So, but all of you who are here participating in the chat and being friendly and asking your questions and helping others awesome. And
lurkers too. Lurkers are fantastic. Appreciate
we love you.
Too.
And if you someday feel like de-lurking, we'd love to have you.
And then the replay crew, we got a lot of replayers. Appreciate y'all.
We do appreciate you guys. And we will see you next week, hopefully with Jody P. Hopefully she feels better soon.
Yep.
But otherwise, you'll just be stuck with Steven and I again. I mean,
oh, well.
It could be worse. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks. See y'all later.